Steve Wozniak is best known as Apple's co-founder, but recently has been merging his passion for comics and building technology for the future. Wozniak partnered with Stan Lee to bring a brand new Comic-Con to Silicon Valley. TechCrunch's Fitz Tepper met up with Woz to talk about the event taking place this weekend at San Jose Convention Center.
I know Stan Lee kind of brings the comic aspect and you bring the technology aspect. Talk a bit about that, and when you two first started talking, did you know it had to be tech and, comic focused?
So this sort of fell out of it this way. We're in Silicon Valley. Of course, we have a lot of tech shows. We don't want to do a tech show, but we want to bring some of the technology and science element in where it meets pop culture.
And is that because it's in Silicon Valley, or from the start, no matter where it was going to be, you wanted a tech?
I would say wherever it was, we would have wanted to include the technology. It would have occurred to us, but I can't be 100% sure. Mm-hmm. It was obvious being in Silicon Valley, and we're also doing one in Tokyo, and so we're including some tech in that one too.
Is this because, is tech the future of entertainment? Things like Oculus and, Netflix now?
Think about pop culture, especially comic books, but you could go into all the science fiction movies, effects and all that. It's like dazzling visual images. Mm-hmm. What is the most, and we've gotten our computers better and better at looking dazzling like the real life. And now what's the best of all? 360-degree virtual reality. So we're going to have a VR zone. Mm-hmm. In the show. The show is primarily on, modern culture, comics, movies, that sort of thing. But we're going to also have a wing with the technology exhibits. And virtual reality, it's like you've got an artificial world that feels and seems real. And that's what comics and movies are all about.
So who are you most excited to be with and meet and to be there to meet the fans?
Oddly enough, when I was very young, I would drive 400 miles down to go to a Star Trek convention. But William Shatner, and the way, watching him online only so far I've seen, do his poetry and his onstage acting. And
you've never met him?
Whatever he does, and I've never met him.
Wow.
Back then I was too shy to ever try to meet any of these people. He's one that's very important. But The Martian, I saw the movie, but then I heard the book was better, and then I read the book. Oh, it was so geeky. The little mathematical geek that's figuring out all the numbers and the science in their head and talking it as they go through it. Listen to the audiobook of that too. Mm-hmm. And Andy Weir, the writer, is going to be there. And that's amazing. And probably a lot of times I think about technology, computers, what do I want? Where do I see the future? Artificial intelligence is a huge part of it. And then there's the big issue. Is it going to be good or bad? Helpful or unfriendly? Good for humans, bad for humans? And we're going to have a debate between Astro Teller and his wife, Madeline Teller, whatever her name is, Teller. Okay. And it's over, both of them will sort of take two sides of what's the biggest threat to mankind, artificial intelligence or super babies.
Will you weigh in on stage? Will you be part of it?
I won't be a part of that one. I'll be attending. I want to hear that. I want to hear the discussion.
You're so excited to go see this.
I love the topic. These days I'm actually positive on the near future, meaning the next 100 years or so, that all our computers and robots and intelligent machines are going to help us.
Why is it important to have events like this for, the generation of makers and entrepreneurs?
It's important because a lot of us are sort of outsiders in a way. We're not like normal mainstream. We love something individual and weird, but it's not covered by mainstream press. Mm-hmm. And what is a big part of our life, we go there, we go to concerts and we sing the songs and the words of them. We read comic books and repeat the quotes they had. And it means it's a big part of your development in your life. And that was an important part of my life. And so especially young people just growing up, being a part of it. This is my group for the rest of my life. This is going to be something dear and important to me, a passion of mine. It may not be what I do as a career in life or anything, but that's an important part of life to me. It always is.
And you said this event celebrates being a geek, right?
Partly. I wouldn't say that's the primary purpose of it, but it definitely honors geekdom in a different way. More the scientist, the scientist. How do you take something that's science fiction and turn it into real products? That's our business in Silicon Valley. And a lot of what we do came from, comic characters. I mean, Superman sees through walls. We do everything we can to make devices that can see through walls. Superman can fly, and we build things that, jetpacks to let people fly. It's in our imagination. The imagination comes first, the products come second.
So before we wrap up, what do you think of this thing? And what do you think of all the fake hoverboards going around with two wheels everywhere, maybe blowing up?
If they didn't blow up, I actually kind of like them. I've ridden a Segway for a long time, and it does an awful lot in my life. It brings me to places that I couldn't get to. When I drive my car, I can zip around cities and learn the cities so much better than walking or driving. So I see a hoverboard as a lightweight version of that.
Thank you so much for talking to us. We look forward to the event.